Good evening. It's Saturday, October 9th, 2021, and this is episode 47 of Dinner from the Dining Car. Today we're making the Union Pacific's Hong Kong style walnut chicken. Now this was served on quite a few of their trains, the Los Angeles Limited, the City of Los Angeles, and their other city of trains like City of Portland, City of Seattle, City of San Francisco. They were all of those trains this recipe was served. It's not that difficult apparently, and we're going to see how it comes out. You serve it on white rice. Now I'm not going to have to tell you how to make white rice. You can either use an instant rice or buy one of those packets you put in water and throw in the microwave. You just need plain white rice. If you're really a glutton for punishment, you can try making jasmine rice. I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment. So anyway, here's what you need for the Hong Kong style walnut chicken. First thing you need is 2 chicken breasts. Now these, I just got them today. They're boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and you're going to end up slicing these into crosswise across the breast, into little strips. You're also going to need salt, which is over there out of the camera range. You're going to need a couple of tablespoons of our old friend sugar. You're also going to need 3 tablespoons of another good friend, sherry wine. You're also going to need at least a tablespoon of soy sauce. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. This is going to be for thickening it up a little bit. You're going to need a third of a cup of our old pal olive oil. Now you can also use salad oil in this. Just we prefer to use olive oil. You're going to need a cup to 2 cups of blanched walnuts. Now we have walnuts here. I've already got 2 cups out. I will blanch them. In case you're wondering, blanching is like putting them in boiling water for just maybe a minute, just enough to soften them up a little bit. You're going to need 1 egg, and you're going to put this in a little bowl and beat it up. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of powdered ginger. You're going to need 2 cloves of garlic, and you're going to mince that. Now, again, myself, I like to use already minced garlic. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic equals 1 clove, so we'll use 2 teaspoons of that. You're going to need 3/4 of a cup of boiling water. Now this is the water that you're going to use to blanch the walnuts in. So it's going to have some of the walnut flavor in it. It's going to turn out yummy. You're also going to need a teaspoon of accent. This is for those of you who can't use monosodium glutamate. Do not use accent. And you're going to need 1 cup of sliced bamboo shoots. You're going to drain these, and these will get mixed in there as well. That's all the ingredients you need for the recipe. And so you're also going to need a good sized skillet to go with, and again, your white rice. Make your white rice however you want to make it. For those of you who really want to go old school, just buy a package of rice and follow the directions. You're going to end up needing quite a bit of it. And because you're going to serve this on top of the white rice. Now if you're like me and you cheat and use instant rice, make about 4 servings worth. So anyway, that's all you need for the Union Pacific Hong Kong style walnut shrimp, and we'll be back in a bit when we start cooking. We'll see you then. Okay, everybody, now we're going to get started with the chicken. Here we have our 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and we're going to slice them up. Now, remember, because you are dealing with raw chicken, always wash your hands. Keep a damp rag right next to where you're cutting, because you're going to need to wipe yourself. You just cut the chicken breast into strips. Just about like this. Let me move the camera so you can see it better. There we go. You're just going to cut this puppy into strips. Just about like this. And you're going to put that in a bowl to keep it handy. That's a little better camera angle. Whoops. And right after you get done cutting your chicken strips, you're going to wash your cutting board and your hands again, because you have to do that when you're dealing with raw chicken. It's a safety thing. If any of you have ever gotten salmonella, and I hope you haven't, you'd understand, because this can be nasty. Anyway, there you have it. 1 bowl of cut up chicken. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go answer the phone. We'll be back. Okay, everybody, here we go. We're about ready to get started. You have your cut up chicken strips in a medium bowl. Now you're going to add a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, teaspoon of sugar, leave that out because you're going to need more. 3 tablespoons of sherry, 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of sherry, and a tablespoon of soy sauce, and you're going to grab a spoon and you're going to stir that up, and you're going to leave this for just a minute. Wow, that already smells really good. Okay. After you stir this up really good, Make sure that that chicken is really coated with this stuff. As you can see right there, it's coated pretty well. You're going to sit there and you're going to take the chicken out, use a slotted spoon, in a separate bowl. Now this little bit of leftover marinade that's here in the bowl, you're going to want to keep that because you're going to put that back into the recipe. Now, you take your cornstarch. Let me dry my tablespoon. You're going to get 3 tablespoons of your cornstarch. I'm near you. What? 2. 3 tablespoons of your cornstarch. And you're going to combine that. So, making sure your hands are clean, and I washed them just before I came back in here, so make sure this is all coated with the cornstarch. If you have to get in there and get really rough with it, then you have to get in there and get really rough with it. Now, once you get that coated with the cornstarch, go over here, rinse off your hands again. You're going to take your 1/3 cup of rotating the camera. You're going to take 1/3 cup of your olive oil. Get a medium-high heat on your skillet, and you're going to put 1/3 cup of olive oil into your skillet. And you're going to take your blanched walnuts, which are here. Now these boiled for about 2 to 3 minutes. They're nice and blanched. They're not soft. It starts popping like it is. You're going to beat your eggs in a separate bowl, making sure you don't get any eggshell in there. And of course, I got a piece of eggshell in here, naturally. Okay. You're going to grab a whisk and beat the snot out of that egg. Now, I don't know if you can see these walnuts from there, but you're just trying to, oh my God, those smell good. Now you just want to brown these a little bit. You want to make sure you don't burn them. Take them out, put them in a separate bowl, and I don't know why I used a metal bowl. I must be out of my mind because these things are hot. You're basically also transferring a little of the walnut flavor into that oil you have here. Being careful again not to burn them. Not to spill them all over the place. Wow, those are hot. Okay. Alright. Into that oil, you're going to take your egg over here, your chicken. You're going to take the chicken strips, dip them in the egg, pop it in the frying pan, in the skillet. We're going to saute this chicken for a little bit. Again, because we are cooking raw chicken, you're going to spend a lot of time washing your hands with this, folks. Just want to make sure these chicken pieces are brown. We'll add the rest in here in a minute as soon as we brown up this batch, which is starting to look really yummy. That's going to have to soak. That's going to have to soak. case you're wondering what this pot over here is, this is the water that you cooked, that you blanched the walnuts in. Boiling water for just a couple of minutes, because you're going to add some of this back to this recipe. These are kind of brown. Just take them out and set them aside, because there's a little more stuff you have to deal with. Oh, these are starting to look yummy. Some egg pieces out of there. Oh, don't you stick close. Side of a pan. What a mess. Well, guys, I can tell you right now, this recipe might be a little messier than you're used to. It does make a wee bit of a mess. Now the chicken will brown pretty quickly because it's small strips, whatever. That's a piece of egg. What's that doing in there? Oh, you need to add, once this chicken is out of here, turned aside, okay, now, with the little bit of oil that's left in here, you need to add your 1/3 cup of your 3/4 of a cup of boiling water. Where's my glove? Where's my glove? There's my glove. Oh, because this had the walnuts in it, notice how beautifully browned that water became. That is just beautiful. 3/4 of a cup of water. Maybe a little more. Maybe more like a full cup. And you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. 1, 2. Ow! That was my foot. Then you need to add your teaspoon of vinegar. Or no, not vinegar, ginger. tablespoon of the accent. Again, if you have a problem with MSG, don't use accent. Just skip that step. You need to add 2 tablespoons of sugar to this. 1, 2. While you're here, give this all a stir. Then, once you give that a stir, you start adding in, put your chicken back in, and you're going to give this a stir to make sure everything's coated. I'm going to add a little more of this walnut water back in there, because I've got a little more chicken than the recipe actually calls for. So, all right, now you're going to cover this and simmer it for 10 minutes. Let me show you what this looks like right now. That's what you have. Now you're going to cover this and let it simmer, a little lower heat, for about 10 minutes. And when that's done, we'll be back. We'll add in the final ingredients, and then we'll add in the final ingredients. We'll make our rice, and then we'll be serving dinner. We'll see you then. Okay guys, it's been about 10 minutes, and you should take a look at that. That is a really good lot of chicken. Now we've been sneaky and sampled a couple of pieces, so we know it's already good. Okay, now that your 10 minutes is up, you take your walnuts, you add them in here. This is going to go with all of them here. And your bamboo shoots, which have been kind of cooking in their own juices, and you dump them in there too. And again, you give it a really good stir. The ginger in here is really making this smell absolutely insane. Oh. And again, like I said, we sampled a couple of pieces. So anyway, this has to sit and simmer on a low heat for about 5 more minutes. In the meantime, that lid is very hot. Wow. In the meantime, we're going to get the table set. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the camera on because we've only got a minute and a half left before the rice is done. So, I am going to redirect it to the table so you can see when we plate this stuff. Actually, I'm going to move it over here. Watch out, Judy. And we're going to drop it down so you can see the actual plating. Now, you may want to leave your soy sauce out if you want additional soy sauce on it to help the flavor a little. Whoops, we don't want to zoom in. We want to kind of, there, perfect. Is the rice ready?
I don't know.
Now again, folks, I cheat. I use instant rice. You can use whatever kind of rice floats your boat. Speaking of which, there's our rice. And it's perfectly done. Ouch. It's also very, very hot. It's also really hot. Scoop or two for Judy.
That's fun. That's fun.
Oops, I just got my arm in the shot.
After you play it completely, we'll
Let it cool for a few minutes because it's going to be hot. Now, here we go with the plating of this stuff. Oh, you should smell this, folks. This looks insane. Oh, the smell. Here's what it looks like. And here's what it looks like going on the plate. Now, this recipe gives you enough to serve at least 4 people. I mean, 2 chicken breasts make a ton of this stuff. Let me come around and give Judy some, and then we'll take a look at both plates. It's getting a little hard to handle this pot because it's hot.
that's fun.
Now, let me give you one more piece of chicken here, and another piece of chicken here. If you want a little more, you know where it's at.
Let me get us something to drink. How about water?
That works.
Or Coke. Coke.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, folks, there you have it. That is the Union Pacific Hong Kong style chicken. That's what it looks like on top of the rice. And if it tastes anything like it smells, we are going to be eating really well tonight. Well, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, you want a copy of the recipe, email me at dinnerfromthediningcar@yahoo.com. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening. If you make this, I think you're going to enjoy it. It looks impressive. And thanks for coming along, and we will see you next time we see you. Have a good night.